We unpack that further now. Thulani Tshefuta, head of the NEDLAC Constituency, joins us now. Thulani, good to have you. Thank you very much for your time. The round table at NEDLAC on load shedding would have suggested, 7 things that needs to be done to intervene meaningfully in this load shedding situation. For 10 months, we've enjoyed reprieve, but we didn't set back proof ourselves, for lack of a better word. Why do you think that is so?
Well, thank you very much. Good afternoon, and to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. We are having this conversation against the backdrop of NERSA approving a 12.74 tariff hike, much less than what Eskom asked for. And this is taking place against the backdrop as well of improved or indications and practical signs of improved governance, management, financial management, and even performance at Eskom, but still remains way too high for us, we want to argue. And where we are now is actually a point where we also in our own engagements pleaded with government and its entities that when interventions are being made, they must be made truthfully. Where there are gaps or challenges that may emerge along the way, they must be communicated truthfully. And so now that we're at that point, it is a point at which we must not allow it to mark the breaking point of the progress that we have sustained over the 300 plus days that you have mentioned, or the 10 months that you have mentioned. And we believe that all the challenges that have been identified, solutions to are on site to make sure that we go back to the days of experiencing no load shedding. And we're making this point with a psychological point in mind, that the psyche of our society is such that we should not be happy when we have, or shocked when we have no load shedding. It should change to a situation where we actually get very, very shocked when there is any slightest move towards load shedding. And so the experiences we had of extended periods of load shedding actually even twisted our mindset to mean that when now it happens, we get the biggest shock. We should actually be expecting that there is consistent supply of electricity through and through.
Has the NEDLAC Energy Security Workstream been receiving consistent reports? I mean, you speak now of improved governance. One of the other things that would have been suggested as a solution was to improve the maintenance at Eskom to reduce the probability of load shedding. Now we know that particular units are on planned maintenance, whether that's an indication that maintenance is improving, but of course they are not coming back online quick enough. So is that aspect of the solution being done adequately enough?
There is significant investment of effort into maintenance now, which was previously just being ignored. It was also ignored with the mindset of saying we are leaving the base load that is based on coal. We are focusing into renewables, and we are not going to do anything to maintain the infrastructure that is still sustaining us now. And so the fundamental shift into appreciating the fact that we have a God-given resource being the coal, which many parts of the world depend on us to supply to with that coal. And we must leverage and maximize on that, is something that the leadership and the management of Eskom just ignored. And they equally ignored all infrastructure that relates to that coal. And so now the change of mindset, the focus into what we already have, instead of saying we're going to fold our arms and wait for the day when the renewables can boost the supply of our energy. And so the biggest tweak with the leadership of the minister, the governance team, or the board of Eskom and the management now, they are aligned in making sure that we make that which we have now to work, and every other effort is geared towards being additional to that which we have. And so the investments of effort in infrastructure and its maintenance are yielding and bringing us to the point where we are now.
Yeah. Talking of effort and in investment in infrastructure, is there equal effort being put in at local level especially? Because one other suggestion or solution, shall I say, that came out of the roundtable was enabling local government generation and procurement, which provides clarity on the regulatory framework, including where ministerial approval is required for procuring and generating electricity. Now we know, for example, the city of Cape Town tells us that they have protection against load shedding for their residents because they came up with some kind of solution at local level to be able at least to drop 2 stages of load shedding when at national we're sitting at stage 3. We don't see that across board in all local government departments.
All municipalities, in fact, we must say all spheres of government, both vertically and horizontally, must spare no effort in playing their role and contribution in making sure that we mitigate the effects of lack of energy and access to both households in communities and to businesses that are residing in those. And so there have to be lessons that are drawn from experiences that are implemented elsewhere in mitigating those effects. And so one of the things which is a non-negotiable, which is a given, is the fact that we are all agreed on strengthening the capacity of local government to be responsive. And some of the binding constraints to the very same capacity of local government to discharge its responsibilities in as far as electricity is concerned, you will learn that one of the biggest institutions that own municipalities are government departments. And so if we say communities must pay, households must pay, businesses must pay, the same message must also go to government, so that with all of us fulfilling our obligations, then we know that we have reasonable expectations from the services that must be provided by municipalities. And the element of infrastructure maintenance is one of the areas of neglect even in municipalities. It does not only affect Eskom only. And so all the moves that are made in the front of Eskom are moves that must be buttressed by similar moves from municipalities, so that we don't have Eskom advancing to greater levels, but municipalities pulling those efforts backward.
Constituency head at NEDLAC, Thulani Tshefuta, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for your intervention this afternoon.